right, mic check. How do you feel? Everything sound good?
Sounds good.
Dope. All right, well, go ahead and introduce yourself. What do you do? What's Explore 360 Tour?
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, first, thank you for having me on. My name's Ralph Perez. I was born and raised in Southwest Detroit. Went to the schools around here, elementary, went to Mayberry, went to Amelia Earhart for middle school. Then high school, I went to Henry Ford Academy. Nice. Graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in business marketing.
Michigan State. Nice.
Yeah. So then from there,
business marketing.
Yeah. So, from the Eli Broad College of Business. It's one of the best business schools in the country. Nice. From there, I interned with the Detroit Tigers front office and the suites department. Started networking, kind of learning the ropes of networking, the importance of building relationships. You know, school teaches you so much, but if you don't make those relationships, it means nothing. You know, from there, I started getting inspired kind of before the whole entrepreneur movement started to kind of do my own thing. I was like, man, I'm a graphic designer. I know how to do code. I'm like, let me try to do this on my own. So in 2016, I started a digital marketing and media company called Ralph Perez, which is it's the ownership company of Explore 360 Tour. Okay. So I started doing that in 2016, working with a lot of brands on doing their ad campaigns, their graphics, their branding, their websites and stuff. And then in 2015, I was introduced to the virtual technology. Yeah, nice.
2015, nice.
Yeah, so the company that is kind of, and still to this day, kind of the leader in the virtual space before Facebook and Google started, you know, their whole kind of integration into this world was Matterport. Matterport is kind of like the Canon or the Sony of DSLR cameras. Okay. They have the software, the technology, and they provided the platform for people to kind of go, like photographers or videographers, to go purchase their camera, use their software, and create digital spaces. Okay. But then it became up to you as kind of like a visionary, an entrepreneur, to kind of figure out how to use it yourself. Because for the longest time, I mean, even 5 years ago, the Matterport tours were kind of like Minecraft. They were very choppy and blocky. They're not what they are now. They're 4K, high resolution, interactive. A lot of people call them videos, but they're virtual tours. Yeah. That term has kind of been loosely used in the past couple of years because of, you know, the pandemic and stuff. But kind of bring some definition to VR and AR. So virtual reality is when you capture a space and you can kind of revisit it. So we did one recently for you guys, the Motor City Street Dance Academy. So we documented it, and then now anybody can go inside and walk around it. That's virtual reality. Yeah. Augmented reality is kind of like filters on Snapchat or Instagram. You're able to like augment reality. You hold your phone up and kind of like you see a piece of art on the wall, and it can come out of the wall and like move around and stuff, right? But yeah, I started diving deep into the VR world in 2015. Was working with a brand out in Texas that was really pushing it. So that's where I really got the chance to kind of really play around with it and see how to make it work. We were working with Del Frisco's, which is a big steakhouse, a nationwide steakhouse. So we were flying around, rendering all of their restaurants into VR. Oh, nice. We were working with Franworth in Ann Arbor, which is a franchise development company. And they use VR to kind of, as a tool of training. So like if a new franchisee wanted to open up a space, we had 4 to 5 documented samples of what. So Franworth, they still work with a lot of the same brands, but they work with like City Row, they work with Spavia, they work with Title Boxing. So they help grow these brands, you know, basically franchise these brands all over the world. And they were using our services as kind of like a parlay to how to get these spaces out in the masses, to kind of show an example of what it looks like, the layout, you know, what it could look like, the artwork inside the facility. And we would go and render anywhere from like 3 to 4 spaces, and then they would just use it as kind of like training. Yeah. you know. So there started to become so many different use cases for this, and that's, as kind of a creative, you started to kind of come up with your own ideas, like what can I do with it, what can I, you know, add to it. And then a lot of software developers started creating stuff on top of it. So like there's things now like tags where you can create, say like, for example, if you go into a retail shop, you can tag all the little pieces of art or all the little products in the store. So like the t-shirts, the belts or whatever, hover over that tag and kind of see like product descriptions, right? So I think what VR was doing, it was opening the eyes of a lot of brands into the possibilities of what could be possible with VR, and also the different use cases. I mean, I think about even the things for like the general consumer that we don't think about. So like if you're in a wheelchair, some of the things that you think about before going to a restaurant is accessible. Do they have a ramp? Are the doors wide enough for my wheelchair? Those are the types of things that we don't think about because, you know, we don't have to deal with that, you know. But somebody that has access to a digital replica of a space, whether it be a restaurant or a store or anything, can go and even measure the space between the frame. We noticed that you did that with it. That was so sweet. Yeah. Like you literally got the exact dimensions of the studio. Right. Yep. It's down. And that's the thing with these cameras is they're collecting data. Yeah. You know, so before the pandemic, a lot of people were not like using it. They were like, I don't really need it. I never used it before. But that was the same with websites. When websites first came out, businesses were like, I never used it before. I don't need it. But then they started to realize like, man, my audience is, they want to see it. They want me to kind of integrate it into, they want me to integrate it into our strategy, you know? So, yeah, that's how it kind of parlayed. So now it's going to be using like for the metaverse and stuff like that, you know, that kind of stuff. Because I was already, when I was looking at the video you made, I was already like, man, we can literally have virtual classes in there and people can literally walk into the space the way that you made it look and then hop into a class with their avatar or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's only going to keep growing. Like, it's insane. How could we, like, for people that aren't watching the video, that are just on Spotify, like, dumb down what the 360 tour is? Like, you know, to me, when I try to explain to people, I'm like, you know, when you go on Facebook or whatever, and then you can just, like, look, like, twist your phone around and look at whatever, you know what I mean? And make it look like you're actually there. Like, how do we explain it for people that are just listening? So the way that I would explain it to somebody that's never interacted with it is almost like being able to pick up a dollhouse and spin it around. Okay. And look, you know, in every room and see, you know, what's on the walls and what's, you know, what furniture's in there, you know. It kind of gives you a bird's eye perspective of that space. You know, because I think a lot of times we all think about, or we all use different ways to make decisions. Like if we're buying a house, you know, a parent might think, how close is my bedroom to my kid's room? For emergency reasons, you know. I mean, you're not thinking about that if you're, you know, a young new home buyer, you know. But like those are the types of things that people like to know. You know, you can't really see that with, you know, a picture, you know, or a video of a house. You know, you can see it with like a traditional schematic floor plan, but you can't really get a perspective of like, all right, it's my room's right above the kitchen, or you know, my laundry room is right below my kid's bedroom. You know, because those little things, you know, I feel like play a part in the decision making process. You know. So would you say the metaverse is they're combining AR and VR, or AI and VR? Is that right? Yeah. So I think what's happening now is because of the pandemic, it kind of shifted the perspective of, you know, we still want that community atmosphere, but we want the accessibility and the convenience of being able to go to a game or, you know, watch a movie and still be with our friends, you know. With a VR right now, it's kind of more so just like a soul experience, you know. Augmented reality is more integrated with like being able to interact with real-time space. And when you're in real-time space, you're around real people. So Metaverse is kind of bringing those two together. So I mean, and that's the thing with the metaverse. It's still being evolved. It's still being created.
It's so far
you know,
to go, but
like, and I think, yeah, and I think that we as a consumer and the audience are the ones that are going to decide how we use it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking on the way over here, I was like, man, like the NBA will be able to, and I didn't read anything about this. This was just kind of like an idea, right? The NBA will be able to have more ticket sales because they'll have a metaverse audience and a real life audience. Because like, think about this. They can probably at some point create some sort of uniform that tracks all the body movement of the players, so that in real time, like, you can call up your friends and be like, yo, let's watch the Pistons game, and you guys go into the metaverse and you see like as if you're really there, like the real movement and everything because of the suits that they're wearing.
I think you can already watch it through your headset, right?
I mean, you
Oculus and stuff like that.
You can.
That's gotta feel cool.
But it's like a different dimensional experience, because like,
feel everything.
Because there's something about being able to walk around a physical space that you just can't get with browsing a online store. I feel like as consumers we're very impatient now. Like, we get frustrated if we can't find a show on Netflix that we like. We kind of want them to feed us in the first page. Like, this is a show
that stupid algorithm. Show me something,
dude. And I think that's why TikTok is so successful, because they're really good at showing you the content that is relevant to you and high quality content. And that's why a lot of other platforms are losing traffic, because they're showing you stuff that's just not relevant, man. And I think that with the metaverse, you're going to be able to have that real life walk around experience, like walking into a store and not have to worry about being profiled or approached by salespeople and bothered, but you can still get that real life interaction and see things that you may not have bought or seen if you were on an online retail store.
Like when you go to the car dealership, you'll literally be able to like download the Lamborghini or the Range Rover and see what it's like to actually sit in it. Like literally be like wow, look at this car. Nice.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of car dealerships already are starting to do using just these cameras that we use, creating like the virtual tour inside the automobile.
Like, how did you do that? How big would that camera be? Like this size?
Dude. And you put it on like a little tripod, and then it just spins around and collects data from each seat.
That's crazy.
A big one that was pretty cool for me that I did was RVs.
RVs?
Because they have some super high luxurious RVs. They got like jacuzzis inside. They got like and it was really cool because I mean, it's just like walking a house, but a smaller size scale.
That's crazy. So you said you own this company then?
Yeah, Explore 360 Tour I own. It's a DBA. It's of Rocky Perez. So it's the parent company is Rocky Perez.
Which is good, because then if you do somebody their social media marketing, you can just offer.
And dude, that's the whole thing is I'm trying to find a way to marry all of these companies together, because they're all related. I mean, if you digital marketing is not going anywhere. It's just going to be transferred into the metaverse.
Literally.
Like, think about billboards. Billboards are going to be in the metaverse. Real estate's going to be in the metaverse. I think assets.
Which kind of, I do like the whole idea of decentralizing things. I'm just not learning about it, but it seems good. Do you have any cryptocurrency?
I don't have any cryptocurrency because I'm the type that's like, I would rather put my investment dollars into my business before I invest it into anything else first.
Especially if you're not too familiar with
it. And I think, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I think that I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't put yourself into a difficult position to invest.
Absolutely. Or gamble.
If
you can't spend it at least 10 times, don't spend it.
Like, if you got extra money, do some research first, figure out what's the best investment, and then put your money to that. I think that for me, when I do start investing more, I'm going to invest obviously some money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, because it's heavily related to NFTs, and because I think that's where I think things are going. I think with Bitcoin now, you can buy pretty much on most shops. You can use Bitcoin. You know, if you want to buy NFTs, you want to have Ethereum. You know, because Ethereum's
you
more.
You can kind of pick your thing, right?
Yeah, you can pick your thing, but I think it depends on what you want to use it for.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want to buy a laptop, you know, buy Bitcoin. But if you want to buy an NFT, which is a little bit, it's different in the sense of Bitcoin's more of a currency, and Ethereum is more like I see it like a platform, a software, because you can have contracts in there. You can so that's why people use
contracts and stuff.
Yeah, you can have. That's why people use NFTs to exchange Ethereum to exchange NFTs, because when you buy an NFT, you are kind of like selling a contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
So he released a bunch of NFTs called VFriends, and part of that was kind of like, if you buy this NFT, you get invited to every single conference that I do for free, and you sit front row.
Oh yeah.
So all his fan base just bought up all the NFTs, and now the value of that NFT is like worth so much.
Yeah.
You know, I think when he listed it was like $1,000 or $2,000 for an NFT, and now it's selling for like over $20,000.
Just the conferences he attends alone cost $20,000 just to get in.
Yeah.
$50,000 just to get in. Like, you know.
And the thing I like about NFTs, it creates community. You know, it creates kind of like that exclusivity too. You know,
and you literally you get rid of the gatekeepers and the middleman. Like, you don't need, if you're an artist, you don't need an agent. You don't need somebody to be, you know, you don't gotta cut nobody no deals unless you want to cut them a deal, unless they're really helping you. You know,
and that's what I really like about what's going on right now with Explore 360 Tours. We're working with a lot of art galleries in Detroit, and we're I'm
trying to start one myself.
An art gallery?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, with Damasio. Shout out Damasio.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Having our first little practice round tonight, if you want to come through.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like, you know, but yeah, we're selling infused cocktails too, like cannabis infused cocktails.
Nice, man.
But yeah, so come out there.
Yeah, for sure, man. But, I think what I like what's going on with the art community is the art community have such a strong established community already.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the first things that I recognized when I started working with a lot of the galleries in Detroit, is it's such a strong knit community. Yeah. And that's the thing about NFTs, it's all about community and exclusivity. So I think as more and more artists start to transfer their artwork into the digital space, they're going to start to see that community grow bigger and bigger. Yeah. Because kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, the sense of being able to walk around a gallery and like look at the artwork and everything, because with these virtual tours you can throw on a VR headset and like you're there, you know, and you don't have to like find, because a lot of the websites are hard to manage or hard to search through. You know, if you're trying to find a specific piece or something, it's hard to find what you're looking for, you know. And again, patience, like we don't have as much patience as we used to have. So I think having that canvas of everything right in front of you is just going to make things so much more
like
accessible and appealing. You know, it's like when you go to a store, any brand that puts their product on the end cap of an aisle, they have to pay extra for that, because when you're walking to the checkout, you visibly see all of these products. You don't have to walk down aisles. You know what I'm saying? So when you're going in, also when you're at checkout and you see the end caps of like gum and chips or whatever, or movies, you know, there's a higher probability of you just grabbing it, or your kid grabbing it and saying, I want this. You know?
Like all those stores that like Burlington and TJ Maxx, shit like that. They always have all that stuff. Like, damn, that's the best looking popcorn I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly. It's like if you don't see it, you don't know it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. So with the metaverse and with the virtual world, you're still getting that lifelike interaction of being able to look around and use your body gestures and movements to kind of see what you want to see, not have to like search on a website for something. You know,
I think it's gonna be interesting because, like you said, it's about the consumer and what the consumer turns it into, and I think the youth is really gonna determine what this turns into. You know, they're the ones that are gonna be like, they make everything cool. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever it is, so whether they're playing the games on there, whatever.
And they're already in the metaverse with Minecraft.
Yeah,
you know,
that and just in video games alone, like we see like how serious 2K or NBA. I don't play these games, but like people buy all these skins, and those are technically NFTs. They buy all these different things for their characters and for their avatar, and then once that game's done, once they made more and they're done updating that game, then you lost it unless they are able to save it to your file somehow, like you know, and then transfer all your current information to the next metaverse.
And that's kind of like how I like to explain a meta wallet. A meta wallet is kind of like similar to a bank account, but the difference is you're able to store your assets. So imagine if you're like able to put your house in your bank account, you know, or your contracts in your bank account. Like you're able to store your NFTs, your
the certificate of ownership. You can definitely store it there instead of
if you buy music,
going through the banks and stuff. Yeah,
it's all stored in your meta wallet, you know. And you're right. I think the kids are gonna be the ones that really, because they have the creative minds, man. They have the imagination to be like, man, I can use this for that. I can do this, and I can't wait to see the schools start integrating this technology more. You know, because that's the first place of exposure is the schools. And I think that what's really cool is when they're able to throw on a VR headset, and when they're talking about Rome, just transport to Rome. You know,
that'd be sweet. But how do we make sure that inner city kids get that, and you know, people with poverty and all that, kind of like getting them laptops now, you know what I mean? Like a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't, and a lot of them don't even know how to use it, you know what I mean, or like the power of it, you know?
I think personally it has a lot to do with education, because the thing about the digital is that the cost of entry is a lot lower, so you don't have to buy a ticket to Rome. Like, you know, kids that are in upper in class communities, if they go on a school trip, they have to buy a ticket to fly to these, you know, exclusive trips, where inner city kids don't have that opportunity because the cost is, you know, too high, you know. But with technology, I think what, you know, and you said it too, it's like they're trying to eliminate that middleman and make it accessible to anybody, you know. And I think the thing is, a creator can be a 10-year-old kid from Southwest Detroit, can create like a whole world in his, you know, in his room, and then he or she makes that available to all of his or her friends in the community. It's there's exclusivity involved, but the thing is there's so many opportunities as well.
Like I just did some research all week actually preparing for this conversation, but like some that I realized is that the metaverse can be as small as just your wallet, you know what I mean, and your identity, you know, like you'll be able to, like they're basically like refugees and stuff like that, like they only can carry whatever they can carry, you know what I mean? So like carrying identification and all that is either gets stolen or they lose it or whatever, and you'll be able to store your identity in the metaverse, you know, to where like if you show up with literally just the clothes on your back, I don't know what it would take, like a fingerprint or a retina scan or whatever, but like now that we know who they are, know what they do, and know like, you know, and how we can still help them, like you know, because right now just things that prevent you from helping homeless people or whatever, getting them jobs, or if you just want to hire them, like, you know, because if they don't have the paperwork, the identity, they, you know, like what can you do?
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about this space is that you can be anything. You can change it anytime. You can evolve. You know, like the wallet is kind of like, I like to equate it to like if you have a Cash App or a Facebook username, that's like almost like your handle, right? That's your wallet. Anybody can see what's inside. Anybody can transfer. You can sell from there. They can ask you if, you know, are you selling this NFT or whatever? And then you have, you know, your phrases and your keys and stuff, which are like your passwords. And I think the cool thing is that it's going to be kind of like a social introduction to like new relationships. You know, like if I look at your Facebook profile today and I can see like what you do and like, you know, the things you like and stuff, but like with a wallet, you can go on there and say like, oh, you bought an NFT from a local artist, or you bought, say, an NFT from a fundraiser campaign that was going on with one of the restaurants in the area, and like I can get a sense of the things that you're interested in, what you like and what you support, you know? So it's almost like a social profile too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting where this is going. And I hope that, though, I like the idea of, yes, you can be whoever you want, but I think the identity part has to be extremely important, or else we're just going to have a bunch of bots and spams and corruption.
100%.
You know, like, I even say that with Facebook. I think that, like, honestly, it should be a system to where, like, you enter your whole ass identity. You know, if you're going to be on this platform, then, you know, everybody needs to know who you are, especially if you're going to be saying or doing dangerous things or whatever. It's like, you know, and don't say it if you don't want to be exposed. Like, you know, it's like, like, you know, it's like, you know, and I really hate, you know, like censorship and all that. I think you got to be careful with it, but, you know, it's like at least it's important to know who's saying what. You know what I mean? Versus like, even when you got all the drama with like Russians or whoever messing with the elections or whatever, it's like, I think it'd just be important that everybody's still identifiable somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the cool thing about the wallets is they're traceable. You can see the history of purchases, transactions, you know, anytime you mint an NFT or, you know, buy something, it's all traceable. You know?
I forgot. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think that like, you know, it's where you can hide all your money and all that, which it kind of is, but it's also like your transactions are still
and
traceable.
And I think like how we were talking about, it's still evolving. I think that there's risk in anything new technology. There's going to be good players and bad players. You know, but I think like we also mentioned, the up and coming generation, I think are going to be the ones to find the solution to minimizing, you know, those bad players or creating less of a space for them to exist. You know, because I mean, I don't know, like you shouldn't hold back from exploring new things just because of fear or
I agree.
You know, the chance that somebody might go and try to, you know, there are a lot of people, I've heard a lot of stories of people buying NFTs thinking they're buying the real you know, NFT that's popular right now, but it was created by somebody that scammed them, like a lookalike, you know. But that happens in real life. People sell fake Mona Lisas and fake Chanel bags, you know. It's
exactly,
it happens, you know. You just gotta do your research, you know, ask questions. I like the name of your podcast because it's like you never stop learning. I don't think anybody's an expert. I don't think anybody's an expert because
everything, no way.
In anything. I don't think anyone's an expert in anything because everything's evolving constantly. You know? I can see that. And we're a part of that evolution.
You know? Can be experienced. You can be extremely experienced. But what about what's it take to be an entrepreneur? You know, I think I'm gonna start having that conversation too, because everybody thinks it's all, you know, it's just a lifestyle. It's just like the Instagram, you know, type deal, or it's just like there's definitely a lot of people that misuse the word entrepreneur and call themselves entrepreneur. But you know, what are some stereotypes you think that you do have to think about or go through, or just, you know, what do people say and do? Like, you know,
I think
mental. You know,
it's so funny, man, because like back in 2016 when I started Ralph Perez, people didn't understand, like, how are you working with somebody in Texas? Like, I had a client in Texas, and they're like, how are you working with somebody in Texas? Is it legit? Is it real? Does it, you know, what's going on? People didn't understand because they were still kind of following that traditional approach to how things are done. I go to college, I get a job, I work a full-time 9 to 5, you know? And over the past couple of years, even way after I started my businesses, that I started to realize that whole system is corrupt. You know, it's managed by super wealthy, super powerful people that train you and manipulate you into going to do something that benefits them. You get you get paychecks and stuff, you know, there's benefits involved, but I think that we're the ones that possess the talent. And I think that that's where NFTs are really starting to or the metaverse and the crypto and all of that is really starting to open that conversation, because I think about, I'm not super well educated in stocks. I've never been the type to invest in stocks because I didn't understand it. But I started thinking about it the other day. It's like, if you buy stock you almost own a part of that person. So like if you say, for example, you invented this, new product and it started to become super popular and you made that business public, the super rich and wealthy and the powerful have the opportunity, because they have access to information and data that the average person doesn't have, to buy up a large portion of the shares of your company, which means they own you. Right? So that's how like the super wealthy and the powerful stay super wealthy and powerful, is because we like, the incentive of getting money, is what a lot of people entices them to make their business public and give up shares of their company. But I think with the NFT or with the with the NFTs, I like the fact that no matter how many times it sells, you always get a royalty, a percentage of that sell
contract.
Whatever so it's like you're owning your talent. You're not giving it up. 100%. Which is what I love. But going back to your question about the entrepreneur, initially a lot of people were saying like, you're lazy, you don't want to work, you don't want a full-time job. And it's the complete opposite, man. You're working 10 times more.
Harder,
You're having to do your own research and figure out your own funding and making sure your taxes are right and your money's right and your cash flow's right, and your products are good. Doing your own marketing, there's a lot more involved, But I think the thing that I love about entrepreneurship is that there's no restraints. You can do and test whatever you want. I mean, like, I'm in the process of starting another business called Super Dope Merch, an apparel line. And that's something I've been wanting to do for the longest time, because when I started Rocky Perez, I was creating a lot of graphics for brands. And I didn't like the fact that I spent so much time creating these pieces of, I call it art, and giving it to these brands to use to market their products and service. But like, that was it. Once it's done, that campaign's done, it's over, But like, I always wanted to kind of put my designs on a t-shirt or a hoodie or something and create a brand around it and create a community around it, So one of the things I started thinking about was like, how can I marry the apparel line into this new world, And I started thinking, I'm like, it would be cool if with every collection we did 2 exclusive NFTs. And then like 10 or 20 people can buy those NFTs. And the benefit of buying those NFTs is like, you would get something like, you would be added to the PR list, and every collection you would get the full collection for free. So that's how like a lot of businesses are going to start creating incentive behind a digital purchase, is what do I get in return for this? And it's like with Gary Vee, like you get front row seats and access to every single event.
Guaranteed to learn something from that shit.
So it's like, imagine if like, say for example, Mexican Town Bakery, say if they created a bunch of NFTs, and part of that NFT was like, if you buy this NFT, you get access to our exclusive release of conchas or whatever.
Or free coffee every morning, and
exactly
something like that.
Because what it does, one, it creates exclusivity and it creates community. Because then you meet everybody.
Wants to be a part of it.
You get invited to like the secret event every Friday or something like that.
100%.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out, turn my podcast into NFTs, like silver, gold, or silver, platinum, gold, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Different like cards. As I get it going, I figure the ones where I fuck up the most will be the most valuable for it now.
Dude, but it's all a learning, man.
Yeah. It's exciting.
I feel like the most times that I learn is when I fuck up.
You fail forward. That's a lot of people don't realize too. Is you just gotta get started. You gotta try. You gotta fail. You gotta fail forward, and you just gotta love the process. It's tough. Shit sucks. I made a lot more money bartending, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see where it goes.
The thing about this is that it has so much more opportunity for growth. You're like I was mentioning before. There's no barriers. You can take it as far as you want.
Exactly.
If you do a 9-to-5 job, which are very respectable,
100%.
There's
100%.
Part of it to a degree is controlled by your talent and your work ethic, but the other part is controlled by the owner.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses hold you back from
Yeah.
growing because they don't want you to go anywhere else.
They don't want to pay you more either.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people usually only, and I've heard it so many times, like if you're in corporate America, you should only stay in a position for 2 years or less,
Yeah.
you know, and then go to a new one.
Yeah, that's what I pretty much, I feel, because now I work here with MCSDA, and I learned about sales and marketing and public relations at all corporate companies, you know, and now I'm doing it for here and making deals that are going to benefit the schools and stuff like that. And that's such a freedom. Like, you know, it's such a freedom. And literally the deal is, you know, yeah, I'll get commission and stuff on it, but I get access to all this equipment, like thousands of dollars of equipment, and I get to practice on it and do whatever I want with it. Computers, you know what I mean?
And you don't know how the efforts of your labor are going to be impacted 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Like one of the kids
I'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
I'll be able to see it. And I already have kids that I've worked with when I was volunteering. They're now, you know, making music and getting paid to do gigs, like getting paid to make DJ beats and stuff like that. And when I found him, I was working with the school social worker, and you know, he was just in trouble every day. And then now he's super humble, super smart, super like he's like a student, and everywhere he goes, he just asks questions and all that. And when I see that shit makes me feel so good. I'm like, dude, like, you know, it's like I helped him get in check. You know, I'm part of the village that got that together. Now I can't wait to use all this information and take that to these schools, you know, and put hip hop into the schools. And that's another thing, is I love hip hop already. Now I get a chance to try to put it in the schools and sit down and talk to all these people about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, and that's another way how you were talking about how entrepreneurship and how to bring this to the inner city kids. I think when you are an entrepreneur, you have years of experience and access to brands and stuff that you can bring that to the inner city kids. One of the things I really like to do is with Rocky Perez and Explore 360 Tour is create internship programs for students that traditionally wouldn't have the same opportunity if, you know, because to be honest, I'm going to be honest, the only way that I got the internship at the Detroit Tigers is because my sister was working there.
Life's literally all about who you know.
Dude, and you know another thing that what's crazy is when I applied right out of college, I swear I applied to hundreds of jobs. Yeah. And it wasn't until I switched my ethnicity from Latino to white that I started getting calls. Yeah. And it sucks. It's a reality. You know, you get profiled and stuff. But the truth is, it's like when people like you and me start creating, start putting in the work to create opportunities for other up and coming talent, that's how it happens. Yeah, yeah. You know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let anybody stop me from playing the game. I'm gonna play the game. Like, you know, you got the best kind of degree, because like no matter what, you can't get played out of that now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got a straight business degree, you can take that as far as you want. You actually, you know,
but you know the thing is, man, like I feel like it's just paper.
In a way,
you know, like I one of the things that I have a hard time kind of like. I agree, and sometimes I don't disagree with Gary Vaynerchuk. He says, you know, college is a complete scam. Yeah. You know, part of me I kind of understand, because you're going to develop skills to get a job for the super wealthy and super powerful. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, while you're there, you're learning, you're networking, you're building relationships, you're, you know, establishing a portfolio, a resume. You know, there's so much more involved. You know, I think that I don't discredit schools. I don't think that you should not go to school. I just think that like education is so accessible now.
Yeah, it's accessible. Yeah, school's not a great opportunity in some cases, but you know, it's like also it's like the education is so accessible. There's millions of ways to get it for free or less. But you know, it's you gotta teach that, and you gotta get that out there, and that's a tough message alone. You know, like, you know, cause you try to tell people, hey, go to the fucking library. Like, you know, I know it sucks, but I know it sucks. You might have to take the bus, you might have to walk, you might have to carpool. But you know what I mean? Like, look up the websites. You know, here we talk about YouTube University. Like, you know,
dude. I was just gonna say that.
Teach people to know how to do these things. There's a lot of skills that go with it that, you know, people that don't really get taught, you know, and I wouldn't even know what I know or even have ideas that I have if I didn't leave the hood. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I got sent away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got sent to Arizona, and if I didn't move away, I wouldn't even realize. Like, oh crap, okay, this is what we need. This is what is what our community's been lacking or don't have. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
that's one of the big things that I feel like is missing in at least our school systems here in Detroit. Is kind of the framework of what is possible.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely what is possible.
Yeah,
like, you know,
like they're not. I don't know, because I haven't been inside of a classroom here in an elementary school or middle school for many years, but I think that just knowing the exposure that, so my sister, I went to Henry Ford Academy. My sister went to Cranbrook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's a big difference.
I saw the difference in accessibility, exposure, you know, through her experience and my own, you know. But you know what,
the school's a college campus,
but to be honest though, like Henry Ford Academy is up there. Like, I don't know if you know much about Henry Ford Academy, but Henry Ford Academy is located inside the Henry Ford Museum.
Okay.
So our classrooms were literally in the back of the museum.
Yeah.
So when, you know, during lunch or whatever, or during, like, you know, I had a class one time where we would go out into the village and get to interact with like the actual physical pieces that we were learning about. So like the Lincoln chair that he got shot in, or the car that JFK was shot in, you know. So like Henry Ford, it was such a great experience, you know. But I think that a lot of schools don't have access to that exposure. That,
bro, what the fuck, Tyler?
That's all good, man. A lot of schools don't have exposure to the type of information that people in upper class programs have, you know. So that's one of the things that I would really like to do with my experience and my access to the brands that I work with, is create access to these different technologies and we'll just wait for everybody can hear you.
Oh my god,
I was trying real hard to like keep focused.
He has good intentions.
No, it's all good. But that's one of the big things that I really want to do more of, is create access to the equipment, the technology, the because even just like getting a client, that type of stuff, man, was hard for me to learn. Yeah, because like nobody teaches you that in college. Yeah, they teach you how to get a job, not how to get a client. Yeah, you know. So like
close deals.
I had to learn that. I had to watch videos. I had to listen to other people's experiences and have mentors and stuff, and just kind of trial and error. You know, like so many proposals I've bombed, and so many I did good on. You know, but like every time, like we said earlier, every time you have a fail, you learn from it. You know. Yeah. But those are the types of things that I would really like to pull into the schools and bring into the schools, is for the opportunity for them to kind of ask questions and say, like, through my experience, well, what would you do in this scenario? Yeah. What would you do if this happened? Or how would you approach this situation? Because those are the types of questions that I feel like will really open up the creativity of these young kids. Yeah.
And because like they might already have the creativity, but then when they sit down, they immediately get discouraged by like, oh fuck, like what is this? What's that? Like, how do I do this? How do I market? How do I market myself? How do I go out and get? How do I generate leads? What are leads? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like all that shit.
I feel like a big part of it is meant to be intimidated, to keep certain groups of people out. Yeah, you know. But I think that people like us, we kind of pull down that curtain and show them like there's nothing to be intimidated about, because nobody that starts anything is an expert when they start. Yeah, they're a newbie.
I've been making TikToks about like where I fail, where I mess up, because I'm just like, just start. Like, just get started. You fell forward. You know, like can't stress that enough.
One of the biggest things for me was phone calls, man. Yeah, like I hated phone calls because I'm not the type of person that's a salesperson. I don't like, you know, and I had to shift the way that I kind of saw myself, or saw that mentality, was I'm not selling a a product. I'm just having a conversation with somebody that's interested in learning more about what I know about or what I'm skilled at, you know. And there's value that I could bring to them, you know. And it started to kind of shift from sales to more like relationship building. You know, everyone's not going to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody. That's like one of the biggest lessons that I learned was you can't meet everybody's needs, you know. And sometimes, I mean, hey, it's better that way because
exactly. It helps create competition, creates, you know, makes you different. It's okay to be different, you know. But that's one thing I like about this. We had to call a lot of schools, and you know, I used to work for like LA Fitness. I used to sell insurance. I used to sell like solar power, like all that corporate stuff. You know what I mean? But like, and I used to make like for LA like 60 phone calls a day and all that shit, and I just felt terrible like making those phone calls. It felt like just an asshole, like trying. If they wanted to sign up, they would have signed up. You know what I mean? So it's like you know. But here when I'm calling, I'm literally calling about after school programming and helping the kids. And usually they don't have anything bad to say, but if they do, it's like, oh, fuck it. Like, you don't want me to help your kids, whatever. Maybe you just don't understand what I'm actually doing or whatever, you know?
And that's the thing about sales to me. It's very short term. Like if you convince someone to buy something, there's a higher probability that because they didn't do their own research, they're going to pull back. Like if it's a subscription or like a service that you provide every month, they're probably within the statistics is like within 3 to 6 months they cancel because it didn't pair with what you were telling them. But if what I found is when you market yourself and you brand yourself and you do stuff like this, you have podcasts where people get to know you and get to know your personality. A lot of times people want to work with you or they pick you because they want to work with you. They like your personality. They like the way that you explain things. They like the way that you break it down, you know?
That's something money can't buy. How your people skills, how you interact, being likable. Like, you know, you can't buy that.
No amount of ad dollars can compare to when somebody refers you. You know, like word of mouth is always going to be the most powerful form of marketing. You know. You know, but it's not to say you shouldn't do ads. I think that it's like having ketchup and mustard. You know, you want to have, you know, more than one, or not maybe ketchup and mustard, bad interpretation. You want to have more than one lane. I'll say this: the good interpretation or the good kind of metaphor is having a freeway with 5 lanes instead of 1. Right? Because if you have 5 lanes, more cars can get through. Right?
And go way faster.
Right. But if you put all your eggs in one basket, there's going to be a lot of traffic. You know. So I think
one person can fuck it all up.
So like, find what you like, find what you're good at, and then what I'm doing now is. What I'm starting to do now, because I realize it's super important, is grow your team because you can't do everything. You know? You gotta share the wealth.
I didn't even think about this. Like, I'm totally down to give somebody a piece of the company if they handle all the social media and like was the social media personality. You know what I mean? Because you gotta have a social media personality too, which I couldn't do. But it's like it's a lot. You know, like,
so important, man.
Being like an online person is a lot.
And you think about it, everyone that we know, like. That's a personality or a celebrity has a team of people
and a representative,
and
you know.
they're working all day for them, you know, and they're the face, you know, like you know, like for example, The Rock, like we all know who The Rock is. He's the face, but he's not the one that's making
all the merch,
you know, the
like
contracts and you know, figuring out what's the best marketing strategy for his new movie. Like he has a team of people doing that, you know.
I like these like you know, BR Sports about what's it called, Barstools. They have like the main guy that everybody knows, but then they have like 3 different other platforms where like it's still Barstool or whatever the fuck it is, but they have a whole nother guy who's like the host of Instagram, or a girl is like the host of this YouTube channel, or like, you know, it's still one company, but like they're like the face of this piece of the company. Right. It's like social media, or you know what I mean. And you gotta have the whole team.
That's what I want, man. Yeah. I want to grow a team of people that are comfortable being a face of the brand. Because to be honest, like I think I'm an introvert. I don't like. This is the first time I'm ever doing this type of like in-person dialogue conversation. You know, I don't usually show my face with my brands because I want it to be about the brand. But I also know the importance of having the human element
Yeah, you gotta have a
of
face.
everything, whether it's a digital service or a physical product.
Yeah.
Everything has a face, you know. But that's one of the things I really want is I want to grow a team of people that are comfortable being in front of a camera and speaking on behalf of a brand, because I think, like you said, it's super important to have somebody over here doing this, somebody over here doing that. That's the only way you're gonna grow.
Yeah,
you know,
because there's just so much fucking work. There's so much work. Just promoting, like, just shooting the podcast alone, and then trying to make social media posts about it, and then posting it on like all the platforms, and then making teasers and whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
And then when you're done, you got to like, do it again, like for the next one.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. And there's other things I want to do. Like, I want to do like Instagram like TV series, you know, where like I do like local businesses, like you know, local businesses you're ignorant to or whatever. Dude, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot. You know,
one of the things that I really want to do too, and with Explore 360 Tour, and I think that this would be an opportunity for us to collab. I want to do Explore Michigan in 3D. Oh, so like a podcast, blog, video type thing where people have the opportunity to kind of like be exposed to brands and businesses around Michigan through virtual reality, you know, and kind of create like a catalog / filter where people can just go and search like restaurants near me and then walk around that restaurant and
see if they're down with the vibe.
Hear about the owner, hear about the menu, see the like have it more immersive type you know, content, you know. But that's one of the things I definitely want to do.
Smart it's definitely smart to get into all of that. There's just so much going on.
So much to do, man.
There's so much shit. Like this, the world is about to change faster than anybody even realizes it. Like, you know, like the metaverse is just gonna be a household thing. It's gonna be a word everybody says 10 times a day. You know, there's gonna be everybody's gonna have a cell phone and a VR set. Everybody's gonna
everyone's gonna have a meta wallet, the same way that most people have Cash App or Venmo now. Yeah, you know, like it wasn't too long ago that people were like Cash App, Venmo, like what?
And those are gonna be holding crypto soon.
Yeah,
you know, there's gonna be able to trade all that through there. We'll be able to buy NFTs straight off your Cash App. Yeah, you know,
one thing that I would leave people with, you know, as we wrap things up, I would say, do your research. Check out another podcast called NFTs for. Let me double check. I wrote it down.
I'm all for it. Share them up. Dang, I can't believe we already crunched out an hour.
Yeah, it's called NFT for Newbies. It's a podcast on Spotify.
NFT for Newbies. I'm gonna check it out.
It's a really good podcast. And then check out Gary V's podcast if you don't know who Gary V already is. But a
lot of people are turned off by him because of how like straightforward he is. But I fuck with them. I like people that are like straightforward like that. Played years of football. It's like I need that like.
You know, and
straight to the point.
Is you don't have to agree with everything everybody says. Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes like I'll listen to somebody, and you know, my favorite kind of tool on YouTube and Spotify is the fast forward button, and the listening to something at 2x. Yeah, because like a lot of people talk super slow, and I know because it's a YouTube algorithm of like you have to have your video at 10 minutes in order to add ads to it. But like people talk on for too long, and that's what holds people back from like listening to the whole video. But just put it on 2x, get what you need to get, and keep moving. You know, but
that's true. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, man. If you ever have anything else that you discover or anything breaks on this type of technology,
sure, man, I'll have to come back and
talk about it. And also, when it comes to getting into schools and stuff, you know, let me know, because we're gonna be building a media program, like, you know, teaching podcasts. I'm really gonna build a curriculum of how I even started this. So,
I'm down,
you
man.
know, so
let me know what I can do to help.
We can get all of that, teach kids how to do how it all comes together. Like I said, for sure, want to make sure the hood and, like, you know, people in poverty have access to this stuff before it blows up. That way, when it blows up and, you know, it does become more affordable, people will be like, all right, bet. You know, and they're not so far behind compared to like the rich kids that are going to get it first. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and like stressing the career pathways that it can go into, you know? Yeah. So, because there's a lot of artists out there that don't realize that graphic design is a way to sell that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just things like that. Like, oh, you want to be an artist for a living? Well, here's a way to sell it. Like, you know,
it's only going to keep getting better and evolving, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm down 100%. Let me know whatever I can do.
Okay, appreciate it. You want to tell everybody where they can follow you at and stuff before?
So Explore 360 Tour is just at Explore 360 Tour on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're explore360tour.com.
Yeah, the website's sick. What was that museum?
Which one?
The Game War or something like that. So it had the word gay. It was like more Game Museum or Game War Museum or something like that.
I'm not sure, man. Check it out.
I swear, I pulled it up on.
But yeah, if you're listening,
like outside and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're listening, on our website, we have a whole library of virtual models where you can go and look at different restaurants and art galleries and kind of get a sense and idea of.
You can see our studio.
Yeah, you can see the dance studio, and just kind of see how we're playing around with the technology and seeing different innovative ways to kind of integrate it into the world of business and commerce. It's only going to keep evolving. One thing before we wrap up is when we launch Super Dope merch is we're going to have a virtual pop-up with the galleries.
That's sweet.
In Detroit,
That's dope.
And you're going to be able to go in there and kind of see the products before they launch and kind of add it to cart and stuff like that. So, let me know
when you launch it. You can promote it on here. You know what I mean?
For sure, man.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it because now I don't want to sound stupid when with that name. Traction Gayer Anderson. It would say Game More. Oh crap.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, the top one, right? It says like Gayer Anderson. Dash Anderson. It's like some type of museum.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did you partner with somebody? So they did it for you?
I'm not sure I remember that one.
This looks interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, we started doing these tours like years ago, 2015. So there's so many tours that we've done that I completely forgot. I'm like, we did that? Or sometimes like I have camera techs that go on and do tours,
Okay.
So I know which one you're talking about now, but I just don't remember where it is.
That's funny. All right, I appreciate you coming on and talking about all this.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure I'll have you back on again.
For sure.
Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
And peace and love, everybody.